right, we are live here. It is Kitty Shambliss of Loving Without Boundaries here with part of our team, Coach B, and we have another amazing topic to talk about. But before we get into that, if you are part of our Loving Without Boundaries online community, just want to say thank you for being here. We're glad that you found your people, your like-minded peers. If you are not part of our online community, feel free to join us. We are there on Facebook. If you do a search for Loving Without Boundaries, Healthy Open Relationships and Lifestyle Freedom, that is our private Facebook group. There will be a little form for you to fill out, just 3 questions, so that we can just make sure that we're on the same page, so that you understand the guidelines to stay to a part of our community and remain there. And also feel free to go to the website lovingwithoutboundaries.com, where you can find our blog as well as our award-winning podcast. We have about 240 episodes, and we are still going strong and are really excited about that. And we're also excited about our topic today. So our topic is the difference between transparency and privacy, and what that has to do with consensual non-monogamy, how that shows up in relationships. So B, thank you for bringing this topic to our attention, and I'd love it if you start us off.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Excited to be here. Indeed, that's a really important topic to discuss, transparency and privacy. I want to start us off with a brief description of these 2 phrases. So transparency is when we willingly share certain information, whether about our thoughts, emotions, needs, desires, or boundaries with our partners or with anyone else in any type of relationships. And willingly means that also that we don't have to be asked for this information. So we are forthcoming on our own accord with the information. Privacy, on the other hand, is when we reserve that right that we keep certain information, certain details confidential, for example, about our activities, emotions, thoughts, or, for example, something that's been going on with our partners. So why this is important to address within consensual non-monogamy is because navigating the balance between transparency and privacy is one of the most crucial aspects when it comes to creating trust, creating safety with each other, let it be emotional safety or physical safety. When we engage with multiple partners, of course, it's really important that we pay attention to what type of information is being shared about sexual activities, for example, if protection was used. And another really important aspect is to pay attention to is informed consent. So in order for us to be able to say enthusiastic yes in every moment to being part of a particular relationship, we must have information available to us that is relevant for us to make decisions if we actually want to be part in this particular dynamic. And this imbalance or conflict when it comes to transparency and privacy is something that I really commonly see. This is something that can be a source of lots of agitation between partners. And it's also important to notice that this is a long-term process to figure it out. So as consensual non-monogamy has very lots of moving parts, frequent changes, it's important that we stay flexible to address the question of transparency and privacy on an ongoing basis. So what is the type of information that we want to share with each other? What is the information that we want to share with the world? What is relevant information? What is constructive and destructive information? What do we consider shared information? What is private information? And we also going to have to break it down to certain topics, like what is it that in this particular topic I would prefer to be my outbound preference, and what is the inbound preference in this particular topic. So it can have really widespread effects in our relationship, whether we address this issue of transparency versus privacy in our relationships.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, B. I really appreciate you bring this topic here as it relates to those who are coloring outside the lines of heteronormative monogamy, because this can be a hot issue, because it's very normal that we all have different things that we value. For example, I definitely highly value transparency as it relates to being open and honest in our conversations with our loved ones. And one of my partners really values privacy, and sometimes those things can kind of butt heads. And one thing I thought would be interesting is to also expand this out to understand the difference between transparency versus honesty. They are very similar, but I'm happy just to expand that a little bit. So I love to use this analogy of, imagine that we were both at a restaurant, and I order the really healthy meal of fish and rice, and maybe you order like a nice cheeseburger with French fries, and you go to the restroom and to wash up or whatever. And I find your French fries just irresistible, and I help myself to some of your fries. And when you come back, you notice that something seems amiss on your plate, and you say, hey, did you have some of my French fries? So honesty would be, you ask me a direct question and I give you a direct and honest answer. And I say, yes, as a matter of fact, I did have some of your French fries. They were just so irresistible, I couldn't help myself. That's honesty. Whereas transparency is when you come back and sit down, before you even get settled, I let you know ahead of time, and I'm very open about it. And I say, hey, by the way, while you were gone, I looked at your French fries. They just look so amazing. I couldn't help myself, and I had some of your French fries, and I just let you know that right away. That would be transparency, like giving you that information right up front, so that there's no guesswork on your part, and I'm being very forthcoming with that information. So I think it's important just to make that distinction. And I definitely, this topic between transparency and privacy, it can be tricky, because we don't want to damage trust with our partners, which is why keeping that, if they tell us something in confidence and they ask us to keep it private, to be in integrity with them, we need to honor that. And so that can also be a matter of healthy boundary setting. If, say, the other person in your life really values transparency, well, why can't you tell me that information? Well, then you've got to have that integrity and be able to hold that boundary of, hey, I want to honor my value of privacy, and also this person's privacy who gave me this information in private, in confidence. And so to honor my value of integrity and privacy, I need to kind of hold that line. So just wanted to give that as an example. And go ahead, B, what would you like to stack on?
I really love that you make the distinction between transparency and honesty. It's such an important thing to be aware of what the difference between the two is. What came up for me, and I like to expand on what you just shared, that there can be so many problematic dimensions when it comes to transparency and privacy. For example, one issue can be if someone tries to overshare for whatever reason, or they have this preference that I just want to share everything, every single of my thoughts, my emotions. I want to process everything with my partner. Or, for example, if I default or tend to default back to being excessively private. Or another problematic dimension can be if I want to fix my partner instead of solving this particular problem, and create agreements that have all of our needs being balanced. So, for example, when it comes to I feel the need, or this is my preference, that I love to share everything and process everything. Some of the traps that we can fall into is we may become too reliant on our partners when this happens. So instead of building support networks, instead of reaching out to an expert, like, for example, a therapist or friends, we get our worst stories, our worst fears into communication with our partners that can plant seeds in our relationship, in our partner's mind. Additionally, if we overshare a lot, we can overburden our partners, for example, because this can be like, this is too much information, I don't know what to do with this. And if they have an underlying issue, for example, with feeling guilty or wanting to fix certain things because they are working on moving away from fixing and rescuing, that me oversharing can create certain struggles in them when they want to jump in and fix the issue. On the other hand, if let's say I tend to default more towards privacy to the degree that it can feel more like defensiveness, then the downside for me is that I actually move away from the chance to really connect with my partner on a deeper level, because I'm going to be possibly driven by fears, defensiveness, fear of judgment, fear of abandonment. And my partner may translate my excessive need for privacy as them being unsupported. I don't want to connect with them. There's something wrong with the relationship. So this can be different sides of the coin when we move into either excessive transparency or excessive privacy, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I think it's a beautiful demonstration of if there is some boundary work that maybe needs to happen, so that's an area that a lot of people don't realize they may need help with. They don't maybe realize either they have poor boundaries that could be their area of growth that they need to work on, or maybe their partners maybe have some work to do in that area as well. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. And yeah, what I would say is there's a lot of hope we want to leave with you on this topic too, that there are ways to navigate this. There are definitely skills that can be learned, whether that is boundary setting skills or getting really honest with yourself of what you highly value, what are your highest values that you hold dear to your heart, and understanding the truth of the loved ones that you have in your life, like understanding they also have the right to decide for themselves what values they hold dear to their hearts, and to honor that and be grateful for that, and to come from that place of self-awareness for yourself, but also honoring reality, honoring who these people are that you have in your life that you love, and they don't need to value and hold dear to them the same exact things that you hold dear to your heart. That's part of what makes us human. Our shared humanity is we get to choose to really step into that place of choice and empowerment. And it's also possible to build those skills of learning how to manage your own emotions and self-soothe. Like, these are all ways that we can navigate through this. What would you say comes to mind for you, B, in terms of how to move through when there can be, it may appear like there's a conflict in these type of values that maybe is solvable?
Yeah, Kitty, I completely agree with you that in order to find balance in our really cherished relationship, having that skill set that leads to open dialogue, that leads to respecting each other's truths. I really love this expression, each other's truths, not differences, but our truths. That also having the skill set where we can create healthy compromises with each other and really balanced agreements. These skills can be learned. And I also want to highlight that there are times when indeed, when we use quick fixes or quick tools, like how to phrase this particular thing that I want to say to my partner, it's really helpful in the moment. And sometimes we need to check in with ourselves, like, what is my dream? 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, and how am I aligned in the moment with those particular dreams? Am I on the right path, or who do I have to become in order to live that particular dream? Do I need to maybe up-level my emotional regulation skill set, my communication skill set, my active listening skill set? Do I need to reach out to this particular professional, or look for other ways to up-level my game? So I can really encourage all of you that in addition to sometimes using quick tools in the moment, which I tend to use also, really get in touch with your why and with your dream. Like, where is it that you would like to be a year, 5 years, 10 years from now? And if you feel that there might be a gap between where you are now and and where you want to be, then find certain ways to up-level your skill set, because most what we talked about, the self-awareness, the emotional regulation, creating more empathy muscles, healthy ways of communicating, creating and maintaining strong and healthy boundaries, and beautifully balanced agreements, these all boil down to learnable skill sets. So there's absolutely a way out of the discomfort and conflict in this particular area.
Mhm. So beautiful. And I love how you asked some really empowering questions there that I put up on the screen. Hopefully people can see that. Just a great way to, I love the book title and the concept that change your life, change your questions, or change your questions, change your life. I forget the actual title, which order it goes in, but it's so true that we can ask better questions to get better answers to help us meet our goals and become the person that we want to be. Because when we are talking about coloring outside of the lines of heteronormative monogamy, that takes a lot of courage and bravery. And it definitely takes up leveling your skills, whether that's emotion management skills, advanced communication skills. I love the quote that our success in life is partly determined by the number of uncomfortable conversations we're willing to have. And also part of our success here is getting more and more comfortable with uncomfortable feelings and uncomfortable conversations, because all of our growth is outside of our comfort zone. And sometimes working with a professional can be really helpful to guide you, to make sure that you stay on track, and to help you build that muscle of empathy and compassion. So that's really, really important. And we just got a comment in. I'm going to read it. Somebody on Facebook said, I just did a similar dream plan with a business consulting client last night, planning the next weeks, months, and up to 5 years. The biggest, highest end goals. It really changed how she was looking at the smaller tasks and costs. I love that, Cher. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, because if we look at that big dream, that can be that North Star, that why, that fuel that closes the gap from where we are now to where we want to be. And it is all those little steps and tasks in between that take us from point A to point B. And if we're not celebrating each of those moments, then we can quit before we even start. We might be 3 feet from goal and just never get where we want to be, even though we might be almost there. And that's why sometimes working with a consultant like our Facebook person here, or a coach or a mentor, can also be a complete and total game changer. So with that, I will just say, if anybody who is watching here, if you are needing any help or any assistance, just know that help is out there, that you can step into your dream and you can get to that next level, and it is all possible. So if you are needing any support, or if you know somebody that you care about, that you love, that is needing support in this type of space, know that you can have a free coaching session. This is a free breakthrough session that I do offer. You can go to that link I just put on the screen, but I'll read it. It is lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. And there that'll take you right into my calendar. Just find a time slot that works for you, that works for me. And there'll be a very brief application for you to fill out, just a few questions to help set us up for success on that call, so that we can hit the ground running on that strategy session, on that breakthrough coaching session. And we'll just meet at that time, and you'll be meeting right with me, and we'll just have an authentic, powerful, honest conversation, so that I can see, what are you struggling with? What are your pains, your challenges that you are navigating? We'll also talk about where you ideally would like to be. And once we have that conversation, if I believe that I can help you close that gap from where you are now to where you want to be, we can talk about what that might look like. We'll create a game plan there. And if I'm not the right person, or the timing feels off, I will be very honest with you about that. And I will do everything I can to point you in the best direction for you. That might be my free online community. It might be another professional, if I feel that is the best choice of action. But I will, from a place of honesty and love for you, I will let you know that, and we can just, again, start with that conversation. That's exactly how I got to know B. She made that decision to book that call over 3 years ago now. I can't believe it because it was in January 3 years ago in 2021. And she literally, it changed the trajectory of the entire rest of her life to the point that she switched careers. She became part of the team. She is now a certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. And we are so darn proud of her successes and honored to have her as part of the team. So anything else you'd like to add there, B?
Yes, thanks, thanks, Kitty. What I want to encourage you all is to remember that finding balance when it comes to transparency and privacy is not about perfection, not about perfection in the moment or perfection for the rest of our lives. It's about embracing the journey and embracing the beauty of our unique connections. And by nurturing open communication, mutual respect, we can cultivate long-term fulfilling relationship filled with love, authenticity and trust. And you all deserve to live your very best life. So if any of this resonates with you, then have a think about where might you have some growth edges when it comes to transparency and privacy, and how might you align with your dreams from 5 years, 10 years from now? What is it that you need to do, be, and have to achieve those dreams?
So beautiful. Yeah. And this message is for anybody who is looking to live your most authentic life in a way that works for you. That is possible. You can learn how to navigate if there's jealousy and insecurity that comes up, or any shame or guilt, or also if you are navigating the pain and trauma of past infidelity in your life and your relationships. That's how a lot of people tend to come to consensual non-monogamy and sometimes polyamory. So know that you can learn these skills. You can fall back in love with yourself if you've lost your way, if you've lost connection with the best part of you, and that you can also start to feel unstoppable as you learn and you grow. And a lot of times working with a coach or a mentor can literally compress time for you to help you do that quickly, and to do it running alongside other like-minded people who are on that same journey can make it more fun, more enjoyable, and so amazing. So again, if you are looking for a community, feel free to find us on Facebook at Loving Without Boundaries, Healthy Open Relationships and Lifestyle Freedom. If you do a search for that, you'll find our private group. And we also do lots of support there as well. And again, if you're looking for some expert support and want to have a free breakthrough session, you can go to that link, lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. So if that is you, I look forward to speaking with you. And B, thank you again for bringing this important topic to our attention. And I hope you all have a beautiful and amazing day, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.